I have some really great new everyday carry tools and tech to show you in this roundup, and as usual I'll put links to everything featured in the description down below. And I'm going to start with one of our favourite EDC tool makers, Antdesign, who have just launched this, the Apex, which they describe as the screwdriver reinvented. And it's made from a tough, corrosion resistant and lightweight CNC machined TC4 titanium, and manages that rare combination of being both compact and also very capable. And it consists of a handle, a bit kit storage system and the main screwdriver shaft. There is also a removable steel deep carry pocket or belt clip. Now the screwdriver shaft is released by pressing a button lock and consists of a short bit driver with an extension piece for longer reach, which is magnetically held in place. And the shaft locks in the 90-degree position for maximum torque, or it can be rotated further and locked into place in line for maximum reach. And the handle feels very strong in the hand with no flex evident and provides a really secure grip. You then have the option of 3 different bit kits which fit into the handle and are released using another button lock. And these can be easily removed, so they can be swapped out, or they can be locked in place using this slide lock so they can't be dropped or lost. And I initially thought these were made from plastic, but they are actually aluminium, which is great to see, with the bits held in place with strong N52 magnets. Now there is a compact bit kit which comes with 5 1/4-inch bits which are held at an angle to save space, and that means this one fully recesses into the handle. Then there is a standard bit kit which holds 8 1/4-inch bits which are held vertically in place, and these are raised slightly in the handle. And then there is the Max, which holds 14 4mm bits and a 4mm to 1/4-inch adapter, and this one is raised a little bit more in the handle. And I understand there are more tools in the works that will make use of this storage system. And this seems like a great option to me for a compact screwdriver, offering really good practicality and excellent quality. And as for the price, well, you purchase the handle and the bit kit or bit kits separately. The handle comes in at £68 or $89, and the bit kits are £12 or $16 each. I'm not a big user of fidget toys, for want of a better word, but regular viewers will know I do have a favourite for everyday carry, and that is the Choc slider from Lautie. Addictive in use, helps with concentration, and annoys the hell out of everyone within earshot. What's not to like? And now Lautie have upped their game in 2 ways. Firstly, they have a new edition of the Choc slider in a material they call PEI, which stands for something I can't easily pronounce, although others call it Ultem. It is super tough, very lightweight and transparent, and I think looks great. It's the same sound as the original, but hardly noticeable in the pocket at just 9 grams. And Lautie now have about 10 variations of the Choc slider in the range, which start at $67, and they are all customizable and interchangeable thanks to the use of magnets without a single screw in sight. But the bigger news from Lautie is that they have a brand new item called the Frog, and it is the same size and shape as the Choc slider, which is great, but with a totally different mechanism. And when it comes to pure volume, this one is in a different league. You have been warned, this is a people repeller. And there's more, because there are these 2 tiny exposed ball bearings which deliver an intense haptic feedback directly onto the skin, creating a physical tingling sensation that adds a whole new dimension to the Fidget experience. And that is alongside the usual addictive clicky feel. Everything is held together with magnets like we see with the Choc slider, with no screws used here at all, and no springs used with the Frog either. And it can be fully dismantled in seconds for cleaning or customization. You must though use a tray, as there are some very small parts involved. Customization options, I believe, are in the works. The quality and detailing, as we've come to expect from Lautie, is second to none, which, as we know, all comes at a cost, $130 in this case. And I know that is very expensive, but this is one of the best. Ugreen have just added some new finders to their range, incorporating some great new features which are definitely worth a closer look. And Ugreen are the sponsor of this video, so a huge thank you to them for supporting the channel. Now, Ugreen are my go-to when it comes to Apple AirTag alternatives, thanks to a great mix of quality, design, features, and of course, brilliant value. And they have options for both iOS and Android users. And new for Apple users, we have the FineTrack Mini 2 here in a keyring design, complete with carabiner keyring and silicone rubber case. And we also have the FineTrack 2 in this unique football design, which usefully doesn't look like a Finder at all. And both of these offer exactly the same features. Firstly, we have an ultra long battery life of between 5 and 7 years, which is really impressive. A year or two is what we normally expect. And then we have a 110 decibel sounder, which sounds like this. And that makes it the loudest I've come across so far. In addition, both finders have fluorescent markings, making them easier to locate in low light, and they both have an IP68 rating, meaning they are dustproof and can even survive being submerged in water. And the built-in Find My app means these can be up and running in less than a minute. And for those who prefer a rechargeable solution, Ugreen have the FineTrack Duo Smart Finder. And these will work with both iOS Find My and Android's Find Hub. These have a USB-C socket built in, and so you can use your existing chargers and cables to recharge them, and that means there's nothing proprietary to lose. And a full charge will give around a year of use, with the battery level as usual shown in the app. And these are loud too at 100 decibels, and they have a keyring loop built in, so there's no separate case needed, and they come with a mini lanyard. So 3 great options to keep track of your gear, and I think you'll be surprised at the prices. Just check out the links in the description down below. I always carry a pocket knife and a small torch or flashlight. It is my most basic everyday carry, in fact. So the idea of combining a folding knife and flashlight sounds promising, especially when the maker is Oknife, who make well-designed and affordable knives and who are part of the same group of companies as Olight, who are a well-known and well-respected flashlight brand. And the result is this, the Oknife LK. The blade incorporates a button lock and flipper action on ceramic bearings, which makes for a smooth deployment. And we have an interesting tanto blade shape here with an 8-surface flat grind designed, it seems, to tackle a variety of different cutting tasks. And the steel used is M390, which is a desirable premium steel and a nice surprise to see used here. The blade at 2.5 inches is a bit shorter than the handle suggests, but you have to remember there is a flashlight in here built into the side of the knife, which I have to say does a very decent job of producing a usable beam, considering the shallow depth nature of the lens. Maximum output of the light is 400 lumens, which is nice and bright, but that is really for short bursts. For more extended use, there is a low and a high. The low is 10 lumens and good for 13 hours on a charge, and the high is 100 lumens and expected to last 1.5 hours, which is all perfectly fine for what I expect will be intermittent use. There is also a color RGB mode. We have red and red flashing, which I like, useful for when it comes to being seen at night. And we also have some multicolored light effects, which I don't particularly like because I don't really see the purpose. And whilst I'm being picky, the design of the switch to me is a bit fussy and it's a bit more spongy than I would like. The battery capacity here is 340 mAh and is charged via USB-C in about an hour. And other things to note are a removable deep carry pocket clip and the fact that we have one choice of colour at the time of filming, and that is this very tough white micro arc oxidization finish. There is a bit of bulk to this, which is not totally unexpected, and despite the fact that I can't carry this in the UK anyway due to the locking blade, I still think I would rather carry a separate knife and flashlight for the added flexibility that that offers. For those who do want to combine their carry though, expect to pay around $125. James Brand, who are known for their modern design language, have upgraded not one but two of their classic knives. First up is the new Ellis in a super slim new design with anodized aluminium handles featuring this CNC machined dot pattern. The Ellis also features their discreet pry bar scraper screwdriver tool and a new pen style pocket clip, which is surprisingly substantial considering the slim dimensions. The two-handed slip joint design keeps things reliable, neat and simple, and also makes this legal to carry in most countries including the UK. And the blade steel used is the practical Swedish Sandvik 12C27 stainless steel, which offers a good balance of properties. Some slip joints we've seen from other makers in the past have a weak back spring, which creates the risk of the blade inadvertently closing on the fingers when pulling back. The Ellis here though does not have that problem. The back spring here is super strong, maybe even a bit too strong, and that does keep things safer once the blade is open and in use, but opening it in the first place will be a challenge for some without the benefit of rock hard fingernails. Given the choice though, I would rather have a back spring that was too strong rather than too weak. Usefully though, there is a half stop which helps to keep things safe when it comes to opening and closing. And as we've come to expect from James brand, the overall quality is excellent, and the Ellis comes in 3 colour combinations and the price is around £99 or dollars. Their second new release is the updated Elko, and this has been given the same treatment as the Ellis with the same tactile anodized aluminium scales and with the pry bar scraper screwdriver tool, which here also doubles as a keyring loop. The blade for such a compact knife is actually quite substantial, as you can see here if I put it alongside a similar sized Victorinox. The Vic of course offers multiple implements, but if the blade is your main focus, then the Elko might be the better option, delivering real cutting performance thanks to the use again of that very capable Sandvik blade steel. Like the Ellis, this is a slip joint with a very strong back spring which inspires confidence in use and has a very precise half stop, contributing again to safer handling. And the back spring here, whilst very strong, is more manageable on the Elko than the Ellis and is nicer to use. Overall, I really like this little knife. It's really well made and I think it looks great too, and you have that pry bar tool as well, and it manages to feel like a proper practical usable knife but in a keyring sized package, which is quite an achievement. It's available in 4 colour combinations and the price comes in at around £65 or dollars. Next up, a great new flashlight from Nitecore, the P27iX, and buckle up for this one because there is a lot going on here. It's made from a high strength military spec aluminium and offers high levels of grip and incorporates steel heavy wear components. There are 3 tungsten glass breaker tips surrounding the lens, and the lens itself has a quad reflector layout with each reflector containing a 5 LED array which produces a natural daylight color temperature. There is a thumb switch at the front of the light which is used when holding the light like this, which is referred to as duty mode. And next to the switch there is a power level indicator to show low, medium, high and turbo, and on the other side of the switch there is a simple but useful battery level indicator. At the rear of the light there are 2 more switches, and these are designed for a tactical hold like this, and they are easy to differentiate in use and referred to as the round tail switch and the engage switch. There is also a large physical lockout switch which we've seen on a few Nitecore lights and which I really like. It's nice to see a metal cover over the USB-C port rather than the usual rubber one, and the USB-C here allows for fast 18-watt charging, taking around 2 hours for a full charge of what is a bespoke removable 21700 high power 5500 mAh battery. Now the key premise with this light is that it is heavily customizable and consequently there is quite a steep learning curve. But what you get in return is a light that is personalized to how you want to use it. So as well as controlling the power output, you also have control over whether you have a beam, flood or both combined. And this is achieved using that 5 LED array. The center LED in each lens is used to achieve the beam, and the 4 outside LEDs are used for the flood, and all 5 come on for the combined beam and flood, with the quad lens arrangement effectively multiplying the output power. And this setup gives more light spill with the beam than you would get with a single deep reflector, but the benefit is a compact light when compared to a separate double lens arrangement like we see here. Now, I'm not going to go into the fine detail of how to set up the light, but looking briefly at the operation. The front switch steps through 15 lumens, 80, 400 and 1500, and you can choose your preferred light pattern. I use the beam with mine. The switch also gives access to a warning flashing mode, which is different to a strobe. The round tail switch can be momentary or permanently on and can switch between two light levels, which you choose. I have mine set on medium and turbo, both with the combined beam and flood. And the engage switch has a half press and a full press, and you can choose what you want each to do from 3 different options, which are a search mode, which is a 430 meter 2500 lumen beam, or a strobe, or a 5000 lumen very bright flood Nitecore called Lumen Shield. On mine, I have the half press set to search and the full press set to Lumen Shield, which, as you can see, is very bright. This complexity means the runtime chart is pretty busy, as you can see here, and feel free to pause the video if you want to explore all the details. In other Nitecore lights, we have seen search and Lumen Shield only last for 10-second bursts, whereas I've found the search with this light lasted 40 seconds before deciding to drop down, and the Lumen Shield lasted 20, which is a great improvement. The light has an IP68 rating, which means it can be submerged without damage, and it comes with one of the best flashlight holsters I've seen, providing quick access and a secure hold with the benefit of a substantial belt clip. Also included is a battery cage for backup CR123 batteries, a traditional pocket clip, and Nitecore's useful lanyard USB-C charging cable. So this is a serious light for a serious user, and it comes with a serious $160 price tag. Take time to master it though, and I'm guessing you won't be disappointed. Okay, here is a link to some more new gear you might have missed, but for now I'll leave it there. I hope that has been useful. Thank you as always for watching, and I hope you can join me for the next one.